الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد الفاتح لما أغلق والخاتم لما سبق ناصر الحق بالحق والهادي إلى صراطك المستقيم وعلى آله حق قدره ومقداره العظيم. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. So, Ramadan is a time of year when a person has more reasons to reflect. There's more time. We realize how much time we spend eating or contemplating eating, or the other types of things that we can't do while we're fasting. Everything has a purpose. Every act that we have has some kind of end, and every living thing, and every even non-living thing serves a purpose or has a purpose. So, what is the purpose of Ramadan? Why do we fast? When I was first studying, I asked one of my teachers why it is that we fast, and he brought the ayah very quickly. Asta'id billah, kutiba alaykum as-siyam kama kutiba ala alladhina min qablikum la'allakum tattaqun. That this month of Ramadan has been written for you, as it was written before for those who came before you, la'allakum tattaqun, so that you would be God conscious. God consciousness, having this awareness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is something that starts in the limbs, it develops in the mind and in the heart, and is ultimately realized in the soul. So God consciousness starts with obedience and sharia. It has its fruits in the tafakkur, in the contemplation of the mind, and ultimately it has it manifests entirely in the experience with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So in Ramadan, when a person is fasting, what they're doing when they're breaking away from this siyam is actually known as imsak. Imsak means to refrain from something. So when you refrain, when you don't participate, when you don't take part in something, that's called fasting from it. In the month of Ramadan, sure, we have imsak from food, from drink, from the pleasures of life that we normally enjoy. But there's a different kind of fasting, which is an inward kind of fasting. And that fasting is such that the person who's aspiring for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, someone who's in love and truly aspiring for Allah, is going towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and thereby, as love always does, is fasting from everything that's not Allah. Fasting from everything that's not Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So a person trains themselves through their body by refraining from that which is in their stomach, and also the second level of fasting, which is that your thoughts not go into those things which are haram. Sure, but there's another level of that as well, wherein a person is pulled and brought forward to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in such a way, literally dragged to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because of this, the heaviness of the dunya is taken away from them, that ultimately in ultimate senses and at the level of ihsan, we see the fruits of the hadith come to light. When Allah mentions that there are two things, that this fasting is for him, and he himself will reward it. And there's two moments of joy for the one who's fasting. For the one who's fasting, they have two celebrations: the time that they break their fast, and then the time that they meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? Fatratun hina yuftiru. This situation when he breaks his fast, and farhatun hina yuftiru. So he has a joy and a happiness when he breaks his fast, and he has a joy and a happiness when he meets Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But the person who is already meeting Allah in this world, they don't have to. A person who is already meeting Allah in this world, a person who is experiencing God's presence in this world by virtue of having kicked off everything that's not Allah, by virtue of remembering Allah in such a way that He gives the haqq to remembrance, which is that you forget everything that's not Allah, that person tastes the fruits of the fast in this world. By leaving off everything that's not Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that person tastes the fruits of the fast in this world. And what is that? He has two joys. The first joy is the breaking that happens in his heart. The breaking, in other words, as if he said, وَالضُّحَى ta'ala وَاللَّيْلِ إِذَا سَجَى. So it's like the sunshine of ma'rifah, the sunshine of knowing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala breaks in the horizon of his heart. سَنَرِيهِمْ آيَاتِنَا فِي الْأَفَاقِ وَفِي أَنفُسِهِمْ حَتَّى يَتَبَيَّنَ لَهُمْ أَنَّهُ الْحَقِّ. We're going to show them our signs in the horizon and in themselves until it becomes clear to them that verily He is the truth. And that truth is the sun of ma'rifah that rises high. Duha is not just the breaking of the sun, but duha is when the sun rises to a visible. It's perfectly clear. so that people can see the sun rise, having had risen. A person who has a true fast, wherein his fast is rewarded, that he said, this is called tawheed. Pure monotheism rises in his heart, to where he is given the experience of Allah's presence, because Allah is more present than anything else is present. So that person goes into that place, into that space. So he has two joys. The first joy is the breaking that he realizes in himself, and that he realizes himself. He realizes who he is. And then the second one is when he meets Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He meets Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through himself. You don't meet Allah through some other medium but your own self. So these are the two joys, inshallah ta'ala, that Allah wants to give us by virtue of our obedience to Him, by avoiding food, avoiding drink, and avoiding these pleasures of life. But the highest treasure, the highest reward that comes from fasting is the fact that we don't just do it because we want some reward, some kind of paradise, but we do it because we want Allah. The slave obeys Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because the slave wants Allah. And the slave says, okay, what do I have to do? What do I have to do to get you? Just let me know, I'll do it, whatever it is. It's like a man deeply in love with a woman, his wife, and he wants to make her as happy as possible. So she says, okay, take out the trash. He says, okay, I'll do it today, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it every day, and you never have to ask me again. She says, okay, go ahead and do this for me and do that for me. He says, just tell me to jump and I'll just ask you how high. Because he's in love and he wants to do everything he can to please her. So when Allah tells us to fast, we fast for Allah because we want Allah. And the person who gives the haqq to fasting has two rewards. When the breaking of distance happens in his heart, and when he's able to see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in his very heart. We ask Allah that He give us tawfiq, and that we become a Ramadan reflection. We want to become a Ramadan reflection, a reflection that happens in Ramadan, so that when people see us, they see Allah. Just like the sun in relationship to the moon. May Allah make us full moons like Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Barakallahu feekum. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.